And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
Okay, last thing I want to touch on the USA-Honduras match in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Freezing temperatures.
That
USA
seems like a long time
professional
ago.
3-0 win. Does seem like a long time ago. Does seem like forever ago. With a 3-0 win at home. Honduras didn't have much to offer. Two of their players came
Could
off
have been
half for
could have been
hypothermia.
8. It was 3. It could have been 8.
Yeah.
Matt Turner almost died of hypothermia. He had nothing to do.
So here we go. Is this just CONCACAF or what? A minute into the game, the referee whistles, goes to Matt Turner, and takes half of his gear off so he can't wear it. I don't understand why couldn't they have done that in the locker room before the game? You know what I mean? Why does it have to be on national television? Don't the referees check the cleats before the game and stuff? Don't they go take a look and they're like, all right, let's show me your jewelry? And isn't that part of the preparation of the game?
I'm not sure.
The reason I bring it up is because...
Yeah, what happened? I missed that. What happened?
30 seconds or a minute into the game, the Jamaican officiation squad in their full Knights Templar gear with their head warmers and everything.
Oh, right.
They whistled stop, and they went to Turner, and Turner had, because the U.S. men's national team had a bunch of warm-up gear lent to them by the Minnesota Vikings, who they were training in, I think, their facilities. And he had these hand warmers or the isotoners or whatever, where you put them on like a fanny pack and you can put your hands in there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he whistled and he went right to him and was like, you got to take that fanny pack off and you have to take that other head putting thing off. Like, he had to take half his gear off because it's against regulation or whatever. And it's like, do that in the locker room before the game. Why are you doing it now? Now it's a waste of time. And the reason I bring it up is because I just remember, I don't know if you remember this, but 2 or 3 Gold Cups ago, Florent Malouda played for French Guyana. Do you remember this?
No.
And Florent Malouda is a French player. I think he played even for the national team. He's like a French, but he's from French Guyana originally. Now, French Guyana is one of those many Caribbean nations that's a CONCACAF country, but not a FIFA country. So when it comes to the World Cup, Malouda has to play for France. However, with the Gold Cup, he can play for his French Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
And so he played for the team, but he'd already played in the World Cup before. So the rules are he can't play in any other tournaments like it because the Gold Cup is like a FIFA tournament, even though it's CONCACAF. So I remember before his first game, we're like, is he playing? Is he going to play? He's on social media being like, I can't wait to captain my team. And then again, the game started. They whistled a few minutes in, and they said illegal. He's not allowed to play in this game or whatever. They did it during the game. And it's like, for crying out loud, like, can't CONCACAF, like, when they announced the rosters a few weeks ago. So, like, doesn't CONCACAF call them and be like, hey, you can't announce that guy? Like, you have to amend your roster before it's official. You know what I mean? Like, they waited forever to enforce that.
But this happened, but there was the CONMEBOL thing, right? A few weeks ago where the game started and then there was like, oh, no, you can't play because of the COVID
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll never understand that stuff. I'll never get it. You have an office, you get the rules, prepare ahead of time. Maybe it's the Germans in us.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to. This is a cultural issue. We're like, what?
Like, check all your ducks off first.
I mean,
things are wrong.
Can't this be
via the office?
There are rules and regulations. What is happening? Why is this man on the field?
Yeah, it has been cleared. All right, that's been cleared ahead of time. As you are aware of your manual, you should not have even submitted him. You know. So it just blows my mind. Anyway, so that's observation 1. The game was good. Luca De La Torre was lovely. Real great.
Luca De La Torre. I want to talk about him, but you go first if you'd like.
No, he was great. I mean, essentially, he's the number 10 or the guy who connects both ends of the field we've been looking for quite some time, and he's done it a little more effectively than maybe anybody we've had. So
I thought,
maybe even a little better than Eunice.
I mean, I think that is a very classic U.S. men's national team fan thing to say after one
game.
After one good game against a team that was basically conceding the entire midfield the whole time. You're like, he's the man.
I digress.
No, but
he had a good game. He did good work.
He had a great game, and I do agree that he. I mean, I think I've said nice things about Eunice as well, and I think he's just another one of those guys that have been missing prior to the emergence of Eunice, like just somebody who can really bring the ball up through the midfield very consistently. Like I think of Keaton Parks, NYCFC Keaton Parks, who that's exactly his role. He's very good. He's very good on the ball. He's not a very flashy player, but he can receive the ball and he turns it upfield and gets it to the next guy. And that's just a quality that the U.S. men's national team was really missing. And now I just like to see that this is even a thing. It seemed like, in the early days of the Berhalter era, he just wanted Will Trapp to kind of spray the diagonals across the entire field. And I think now this idea of having this number 8 that's more of a shuttler seems useful. And him and McKennie were great together, and I think it's very promising to have another person who sort of fits that profile. Was nice to see. But Kellen Acosta, Kellen Acosta was good. His set piece delivery was good. It was gutsy, I thought, for him to sit Pulisic and start him, bring him in.
But it ended up being a good move, I think.
It ended up being a good move. He scored a goal. Got a little bit of
right now.
And he was objectively bad. Like he was just a turnover machine in the two first games. So it was good to mix it up. And really, what was a must-win game to leave him on the bench, I thought was a brave. I mean, that's maybe overstating it a little bit, but was a good move and was rewarded. And yeah, all around, I mean, just a dominant performance. And now everybody
it's unhealthy
can
for
calm
players
down
to
again.
think they can't be benched. So Pulisic's not immune to that. McKennie is not immune to that. And the reason I bring Kellen Acosta is because Kellen Acosta, again, despite him being relatively inconsistent, like his game against Panama, since this past summer, he has proven that when he's focused and on his game, he is a serviceable replacement for Tyler Adams. He's proved that more than once.
Yeah,
and that's important because.
Yeah, he's adding a little variety. I mean, it was just during the Gold Cup, he seemed just to not ever want to be on the ball. Like he was just very much just a defensive midfielder. And he wasn't, him and Leggett at times really struggle to advance the ball through the midfield. And now he's doing much better with these other people next to him. And his set piece deliveries have been very consistently good. Has to be said, and that's no small thing.
And that's something we've needed at the national team level. Like set pieces, his pass, all our goals none of our goals came from the run of play. It's Honduras. They all came from, I think, dead ball situations, right? With the great header from McKennie. McKennie is so good in the box. For a shorter dude, he's a freaking scrappy little box hound. And he's just there, and we're glad he's in the box. Thank Jesus he's in the box. And then cut right to his head, getting it in there. Pulisic scored, I guess, off a little bit of a rebound situation. And then what was the other goal? We had Walker Zimmerman, same thing.
Yeah,
also
Walker Zimmerman
getting the rebound kind of. Right?
Yeah, bouncing around a couple times, turning around and putting it in. Was very excited. Walker Zimmerman very excited to score the goal. My wife thought he was kind of cute. I was like, what? Okay. Interesting.
What's his analysis? Yeah, he's got the big man bun, total millennial, like a hot guy, I guess. Objectively, I would say, or subjectively, I don't know. I don't know. There's just two words.
Yeah, I don't know.
No goal for Pepe. Still, Weah still having a great time, crushing it on the wing there, which leaves that question when Reyna's ready to go, which he is. Do you play Reyna? Do you play Weah? How do you get them on the field at the same time? The McKennie-Weah duo was great. Remember when they passed the ball, that one sequence they passed it back and forth 4 times?
They could both. Boom, boom. Reyna could go on the left, no? Maybe.
Yeah, sure. But then where does Pulisic go? He sits on the bench, I guess. Where's Aronson go?
He can play. He can play.
Anyway,
Pulisic can play right. He can play right back.
Right wing back. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. But the McKennie way I passed back the whole pass that almost led to the goal was so fun. Passed it short passes like 4 times in a row. It was very cool. I love seeing them just playing freely and just playing. That's what I love seeing.
I mean, I think there is a, like I was saying last week about how the Canada game I didn't think was as bad as people made it out to be, and I think there is a little bit of, the team is at a point now where they really dominate these games, and they can, they can create stuff, and the setup works to some extent. I mean, again, this is Honduras, who are the worst team
at home in this
group,
temperature.
at home. Yeah, and very cold.
Do you feel?
But even but despite the temperatures, again, it wasn't a slog. It was still. I mean, I think the players suffered. They all talked about how awful it was afterwards. Right. But I think it was still a soccer game. It wasn't this crazy slog where nothing happened. And I think there is some quality there now that kind of you can count on no matter what the circumstances.
But we have to, because the next window is away at Mexico, which we've never won, away at Costa Rica, which I don't think we've ever gotten a point from, and home to Panama, which is our easy game, but Panama's 4th place playing game of their lives. So
that's the big one.
Tricky last round.
They gotta win one. They gotta win one more, right? And that's probably enough. Hopefully,
home game to Panama, and I'm hoping they get maybe at least a tie on the road or something. I'm still feeling okay. I would love for them to have clinched qualification with a game to spare, and I think that's very reasonable.
That would make everybody feel a little calmer. Yeah, you don't want the last game in Costa Rica. Yeah, we'll see.
I will always remember where I was in Cova. Always, I'll never forget that fateful night. And I do not want to have to go to Costa Rica to be like, we need a point. Like, it's going to fit 90
where
minutes.
Were you?
It's too.
So where
I
were
was
you?
Backstage Herald Night. Used to be theater. New York City.
Very nice.
I was really upset. A lady came up to me and criticized me for caring about soccer, and I almost punched a woman that night, Bjorn. I'm joking. I don't know.
How close did you come to that happening?
I'm joking. I don't know. What's his face got into trouble? Not trouble, but like during the Fox analysis, he's like, what's his name? Aguchi Onyewu got in trouble for being like, I would choke a woman or said something pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was yeah. I mean, it was
nothing. Only Fox News had a problem with it, but still, there was an article about it. So he had to apologize, which he did.
He had to apologize on camera. Well, it's like they get these, it was before the US-Mexico game, and they get a Mexican analyst as part of the setup, and they're supposed to banter, and he got a little carried away.
Oh, right.
He threatened to choke her. I mean, clearly in a joking, lighthearted way. But that
of
was
everything that happened at that game, that's like 20th as far as crazy stuff on that game. That's why
when the guy jumped off yeah,
there was no stoppage time.
That game was insane.
Yeah, the game was a fun, raucous, insane game. So two last.
You said two burning questions. What are the two burning questions?
One, should they have played in that venue during that time? And 2, should Greg Berhalter have done a selfie with 2 fans in the 81st minute on live national television?
Okay, question 1. Well, he explained it. He said that they didn't know it was going to be that cold, and they had to play. They had to play
Minnesota in February. It's not rocket science. It was the warmest day of the week, by the way.
His argument was that he didn't want to switch climates because they had to go to Canada the game before, so he didn't want to then go somewhere super warm and kind of disrupt everything for his players. And he also said but he did also not back away from the gamesmanship aspect of it. He said we go down to these countries, and there's sometimes high humidity. They play in the middle of the day. You try to you try to take advantage of whatever competitive advantage you can get. I think it's a little stupid. I think if you're the better team, you want to just play in regular conditions and like just win the game. I think it's sort of, I think the people kind of outsmart themselves a little bit, but I do understand what you're saying. Like going from Canada, you didn't want to go to Florida from Canada within like 3 days, and that's a lot also to deal with.
I could have split the difference
physically, but yeah, you
like,
could have found
the big bad boys. Like Brazil doesn't play in altitude against Bolivia. Bolivia plays in altitude against Brazil. You know what I mean? Brazil just plays their teams in the Maracanã because they can play for 90 minutes. Sea level stadium. They don't have to do anything. I'm not saying we're Brazil, but if we're playing Honduras at home, the advantage is already there. The added advantage almost serves as a disadvantage to us. It didn't, thankfully. So I wasn't super crazy about the move because it's just a little dangerous. Now it had sort of a byproduct where it's like forever we've always been like, we can't play games, blah, 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 blah. Now we have actual sample size to see what it looks like. And then the selfie.
I mean, there was an injury break. It took took him less than 10 seconds. I don't think that's a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't care either.
I mean, I guess you don't, wouldn't make a habit of it. And if you were, if you were on the losing end and you would see the opposing coach doing that, you would definitely be a little bit upset. I'm not saying it's nothing, but like, no big deal. The game was stopped. It really didn't take long. It's not like he went anywhere. He just turned around and somebody took a picture, and that was it.
That's the other.
It wasn't a selfie. It's not a selfie.
Yeah,
actually,
whatever,
it's somebody taking. It's somebody taking a picture. If he's holding his own phone, I don't know. That's probably worse. But he was posing. He was posing for a picture.
Riddle me this: like, how good of tickets were those? Like, they were just fans standing next to the bench. It's like they were on the field.
Oh, I don't know who these people were. No idea.
All right, so I
think that was
the USA Honduras.
That had a tempest in a teapot kind of feel to it. People wanting to make that a big deal. I don't know. He posts for a picture.
Yeah, everything he freaking does is bear halter out. It's ridiculous.
Bear halt people. Yeah, I mean now. I think there's a non-zero amount of people who are probably hoping for the U.S. to not win this game, right? In order for Berhalter to, if you hate the coach,
there was a Berhalter out sign at the UNC Duke game on national television, College Game Day, the other day. It's like mainstream to get rid of Berhalter, and I'm like, what is everyone's malfunction? He's our head coach, not a robot. I guarantee you he's going to be our head coach through the end of 2022. And you know what? I'd put money on it that they're going to sign him to a 4-year extension. I'd put money on that.
Well, that depends on how the World Cup goes, right? Only Germany extends their coach's contract right before a World Cup.
Or the United States. In 2013, 6 months before 2014, Jürgen Klinsmann had a huge super duper contract extension, doubling his salary, giving him more roles. They signed that 6 months before the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah, I don't think they should do
like
that.
Father, like son.
That's no good.
Yeah. That's why it was so hard to fire them for so long. Anyway, that is our USA time. That was just the Schnitzel Boys video on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. If you like that one, we've got a couple other ones right over here. And if you like that one, don't be afraid to subscribe, like, and ring that bell.
It's the Schnitzel Boys, it's the Schnitzel Boys, it's the Schnitzel Boys.